Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. You know the formalities. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll get started shortly. See you soon. This Conversations Under the Palm Tree is for you to get to know me. I would assume a few of you know me and where I grew up, my family, different things like that. But for the most part, a lot of folks may not know me. So I wanted to give some insight into who I am with a few questions. Let's get started. I was born in Grand Prairie, Texas, in a small town, I would say within the Dallas area. Don't quote me on this, I'm not a geographical genius, but it's within Dallas, and I have family on my father's side who lives there. My mother met my father in Texas and they both went to school together. From there, I moved to California, where I grew up in Palmdale, which is just about an hour and a half northeast of Los Angeles, California. And I grew up like any typical kid. It was kind of a suburb outside of the city of Los Angeles, and I would say I had a great childhood, a little sheltered, I will admit. Sorry, Mom. A little sheltered, but definitely something that I am grateful that I had as far as my upbringing. Again, raised in a home, a single parent home for that matter. I am the eldest of 5 kids, 2 of which I grew up with, which for the most part, for those who know, my 2 sisters. And my other 2 siblings are actually from my father's side. The eldest of 5, I would like to say that my mother utilized me as the guinea pig. Everything was trial and error with me, to the point to where I didn't even ask to do or go anywhere unless I had cleaned the house, I had washed the car, I had done everything in my power to make it more of a reason for my mother to say yes. So I definitely was not the one going out to parties or going out to events that some of my friends would hold. Like, it was, I wouldn't say it was a task, but it was definitely some effort with trying to even go to a football game. Again, it wasn't that bad, but my mother definitely had her reasons. I was heavily involved, so I wasn't missing out on anything in particular. But I'm grateful for the upbringing I had. And like I said, I was the guinea pig, so it was trial and error. My sisters, on the other hand, did not have that trial and error, so they were going to football games and activities and just all kind of stuff beyond what I could even think or imagine that I would be or had been able to do. And I'm like, seriously?
Seriously?
I was getting straight A's. I couldn't go. I just couldn't go. I would say I was pretty much an exceptional student in high school. I graduated with a 3.87. Granted, those were weighted grades, so it probably was like a 3.5 or 3.6. So, you know, like, I would say I was smart. And so after high school, I went on to college, and I went to the University of San Diego. After that, I went across country to Virginia to Old Dominion University, where I pursued my master's degree in education, higher education specifically. I love the college experience that I had in undergrad, and so I wanted to stay a part of that community, a part of the college organization or the institution of higher education. So I decided to stay and maintain work in that field. I love education, and currently actually back in school just for the fun of it, the perks of working at a college and university. Currently, I am working as an academic counselor at a local university, where I encourage students to reach for the stars. I love seeing the impact that I make when students achieve their greatest potential, whether that's academically, personally, and professionally. It's not solely dedicated to academics, at least not for me as far as my limitation and encouragement, but I love to encourage students to reach for the stars, reach for their dreams. My hero is my mommy. I love you, mommy. She is my hero because she busts her butt, like past tense and current, because she is the awesome grandmother to my niece. And my mom is a hard worker, very accomplished, very educated, and when she does her job as an accountant, it's phenomenal. She was a great example, is a great example, and somebody that I look up to as far as a strong woman of God, a strong woman of faith, and has always encouraged us to really be self-sufficient, to be independent. I'm not sure if a lot of people know, probably people who have lived with me, but my pet peeve is trash that's taken out and a bag is not put back in it. And I have to, be convicted too, because sometimes I do this. I'm like, Jaleesa, you already know, you're gonna have to fix that. But if somebody takes out the trash, so anybody, it could be my siblings if I'm out visiting my mom, it could be my husband. If you are taking out the trash, please put a trash bag back in. I have had multiple instances where I have had my hands full and I have intended to drop something in the trash, or have dropped something in the trash, liquid, or some type of food item, and there was not a bag. And the process of cleaning that and changing that is a nightmare. And maybe I'm just being extra, and I'm okay with that, but that is one of my pet peeves, putting a trash bag back in the trash when the trash is taken out. That's it. That's all. Easy. Seeing my work come to life and people being impacted by it. For example, the work that I do at the university, I love to see the impact that I make on my students. I would even add to that, what motivates me to work hard is to be appreciated, and I feel like that's the case for most people. My favorite book would be Switch on Your Brain by Dr. Caroline Leaf. She's a neurologist and a scientist altogether that talks about how we can think ourselves happy, in a sense, think ourselves into productivity, think ourselves into movement. And if we choose to change our thinking, then eventually our feelings will follow, and then our behaviors and what we produce will be in alignment with what we're thinking. We already do that inevitably. Just starting your day off right with positive thinking and positive self-talk will eventually lead into the productivity of your day, and help you to produce better quality of work and just a better quality of life. I believe my favorite movie is every other person's favorite movie, Love and Basketball. Love it, love it, Love and Basketball. Now, I wanted to do two because the second one is not really normal, but I thoroughly enjoyed the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I so wanted to create like an amusement park that was like full of chocolate, exactly what was like, to replicate exactly what was in the movie. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, hands down. And now that I think about it, I do want to add a third one, The Wiz. I can recall when I was in high school, I watched this movie with my sisters multiple times a week. It's a classic, and if you haven't seen it, shame on you. But it's a phenomenal movie, and I loved it. I loved it so much. I wanted to be an obstetrician gynecologist, yes. OBGYN, yes. I wanted to deliver babies, for those who do not know the details of what that means. I wanted to be in the labor and delivery department of a hospital, welcoming mothers to their rooms, encouraging them about the birthing process, and I wanted to be there to catch that little boy or girl through delivery. I wanted to do that. And then I took our first biology course and I nearly failed. Now this was in college. I took my first biology course. And yeah, I was like, this ain't gonna work. No, this ain't gonna work. And then I followed that up. Now, I withdrew from the class before I got a failing grade. So thank the Lord, whoever advised me to do that, I did it. And then I took a chemistry class to follow that, and that was not good either. I think I got like a C in the class. It just was not my forte. I don't know what it was, because I did decently in science in high school, but you got to really think about it. High school really wasn't that hard. I mean, at least for me, like, because I had my moments where my integrity was challenged. I just realized that the math, the science, all of that stuff embedded into healthcare was just not for me, and I had to grow to be okay with it. And there was another means for me to help people. And so when I discovered what that was, which is more of like the coaching, counseling, relationship, encouragement type of work, I realized that was better suited for me. Like, I can teach people, I can encourage people, I can uplift people, I can build people. Whatever it took for me to see that person thrive in what they're doing, I knew that I could do. And so, which is why I'm in the profession that I'm in. I could take that middle school, high school, and college perspective and help them create a dream, help them to create something that they can work towards. And so I think I do that best, helping people to realize their potential and to move on it. Because so often I think we get stuck in what we should have done, if we had changed this or done this thing differently, rather than taking what we have in our hands and doing the best that we can with them. That is called excellence, when we do the best that we can with what we have. So the video ended up going a bit longer than I expected, so I decided to cut it short and bring to you a part 2. So I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and thank you for tuning in to Conversations Under the Palm Tree. Don't forget to come back next week and tune in Tuesday, because it's going to be TNT Boom Explosive. Don't forget, tune in next week for part 2. I'll see you there.